Hey, you're listening to Ward Davis, and you're listening to Walking the Floor.
I'm walking the floor over you.
Walking the floor.
I'm walking the floor. Walking the floor over you.
Hola, senors and senoritas, and welcome to episode number 189 of your favorite podcast, Walking the Floor. I am Chris Shiflett, and I will, as always, be guiding you through this epic podcast journey for the next hour or so. Got a good show today. I had a good show last week. Did you listen to my interview with Suggs from Madness? Because I was particularly proud of that one. I thought that was a lot of fun, but today's great too. I had a very busy week. Flew out to Nashville. First off, just getting on a commercial flight for the first time since COVID happened was wild. But then I flew out to Nashville and recorded 4 new songs over the course of like 4 days, just hustling, moving fast. And that was a lot of fun. I can't wait to put these tunes out. I don't know when I'm going to put them out exactly. I'm still tweaking on them a little bit, and then we got to mix it and figure out how we're going to get it out there and all that thing. But should be coming relatively soon, and I'm really pumped on what we did. You know, I think I've talked about this a fair amount on this here podcast, but I've been reading the emails you send me a little bit more. I've been paying a little more attention to that email account, that walkingthefloor@gmail or whatever it is. walkingthefloorpodcast@gmail. I don't know what it is, but it's whatever it is. And people send me messages, and I will tell you something I've noticed. If you go back to the Todd Snyder interview I did a while ago, I did it when I was out at Americana Fest last time in whenever that was, 2019, I think. So I haven't listened to it in a minute. I don't exactly remember, but I do remember really liking it and having a great conversation, I thought, with Todd Snyder. But you know what comment I get a lot? I've gotten a lot of these comments. People really angry that I talked over his answers, which I didn't even realize I was doing. I think I was just so excited to talk to Todd Snyder because I love Todd Snyder that I was apparently jumping all over his answers, and I apologize to you, the listener, and to him, of course. Maybe I'll be able to get him back on, and I'll really try to shut the fuck up next time and just let the man talk. Also, I got my first COVID vaccine shot this week, which was very exciting and kind of a relief, I finally got the vaccine and posted a picture of it on my Instagram and got some colorful responses. I didn't realize it was going to make so many people angry, so I just wanted to follow up with that. I should thank you for the commentary. I have not died. I don't think I got gene therapy. I do not have free Wi-Fi now. I don't think I've gotten Bell's palsy. No, I'm not going to take off my mask. No, I don't think coronavirus is overhyped. But thank you for your concern, and I feel pretty good, and my arm's a little sore, but hallelujah, getting through it. All right, let's talk about our friends at Zounds.com. Did you know that Zounds.com has 3 warehouses strategically located all across the United States, so they can get you your gear faster than anybody else, man. You order it, they just ship it out. Most of their orders arrive within a couple days. It's faster than Amazon Prime, man. You don't even have to pay for it because the shipping is free at Zounds.com. So get on over to Zounds.com, get yourself whatever you need music gear-wise, and all will be well. Let's get to today's interview. All right, you know Ward Davis. You love Ward Davis. I had noticed that he put out a new record back in November, so I hit up my buddy Kendall because I was pretty sure that they were friends, and I said, hey man, can you put me in touch with this dude so I could get him on my podcast? And Ward was nice enough to oblige, and we sat down in I think it was the beginning of January, so this isn't that old. It's still pretty current by Walking the Floor standards. And we didn't have the greatest connection of all time, but we got through it, and he's a cool dude, and we had a real nice conversation, kicking it off right here with the pros and cons of living out in the middle of nowhere. This is Ward Davis on Walking the Floor.
Just the brand of armor I wear.
What are the pros and cons to living out in the middle of nowhere?
Pros, I can let my kids run around in the yard, and I can turn my back for 5 minutes, that kind of thing. It's not there's no traffic. I live at where 2 dead end roads meet, so
That sounds like a song title where two dead end roads meet.
Yeah, that's me and my current wife. Dude, it's like, I mean, access to fresh meat, that kind of thing. I'm about 25 minutes from town to get where I can go to. There's a Walmart on one way and just like a grocery store the other way. So
you had me at no traffic. Sold.
Oh, dude. I mean, I sit out here, maybe 10 cars go by every day.
Yeah.
On a busy day.
That's like 3 seconds in front of my house, but yeah, you're breaking my heart.
I'm sorry. Hold on. That's my backyard, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice, man.
It's just a hole. It's hard to mow.
Well, let's talk about your new record, man. You just mentioned getting divorced, but then you said you're currently married. I had read somewhere you were talking about getting divorced, and I didn't know if that was a recent thing. And when I was listening to your latest record, I was just kind of making notes, as I was going, and it sounded like reflective and like kind of looking back, and there's a lot of that sentiment in it. And I didn't know if this was like a breakup record or a divorce record.
I think with any divorce, it took a minute. We split up probably about 3 years ago. And unfortunately, I already knew my wife that I'm married to now, more or less the reason, not the reason, but you know how it is. It's like it was symptomatic of what was going on in my life. But I wrote a lot of sad songs going through there. Had to reconcile a lot of old feelings and forgive myself, and just refocus my efforts on my kids and the future. And it was a lot of the songs on the record are old songs. I think the oldest one's probably about 16 years old.
Oh, really?
But it's one of those where I wrote it I wrote it so long ago, but I didn't know what I was writing it about then. That's, I'm 41 now and I realize that. And, going back and listening to some of these songs, it's just like, wow, how did I wrote my life, and I had some really great co-writers helping me. So, we went back and recorded a lot of old stuff and did a lot of new stuff too, though. So,
where'd you make the record? Like, who produced it?
Moose Brown. He's a kind of a local guy. I mean, everybody in Nashville is a transplant. Moose, I think he spent half his life in Detroit and the other half in Arkansas, and then came here. And he's a great musician. He played guitar for like Marie Osmond for a long time.
Oh, wow.
He was with Bob Seger for about 15 years. But anyway, and he's a Grammy-winning songwriter. He wrote "It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere." I don't know if you've ever heard that one, but he two-time ACM piano player, and he's produced records for a lot of guys. But anyway, we cut it out at his studio in Goodlettsville, which is it's about like it is where I live, out in the middle of nowhere. And he just built that studio over the years, and we'd go in there and piddle for a few days and then take a few days off, or months even, man. And we just kind of cut it. It took about 4 years.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, why was it, 4 or 5 years between full lengths? I know you had you put out an EP a while ago, but what? Yeah,
the EP was like right in the middle of everything that was going on with the divorce, and the process of dealing with that. I kept writing, and I was working, like touring a lot, and I wasn't getting in the studio. My time was split between my kids, and it just took a while. I don't know. I'd go in and cut 3 or 4, and that's one of those, and you've been in the studio enough to know, man, it's hard to leave what's going on outside the studio. And
sure.
I would get in there, man, and I would just have bad days. And, I think one of the songs on there I cut 3 times before I finally got it where I needed it. It was, it was a slow burn, man. But, we finally, when the pandemic hit, I mean, I had one more song to record, and we were going to take the band in, and, but it was just complicated. And, nobody knew a lot about the virus, so we didn't know how exactly we needed to handle it. So I just went in and cut it. But the last song I cut late March, and it was the one that I wrote with, it's called Threads, that I wrote with Pearl a day, Scott Ian's wife.
Yeah.
I said, y'all know, because I know they know Dave, and I hit her up the other day, and she's like, oh yeah, tell him we said hello.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
But yeah,
funny, you reminded me their son got up and jammed with us that one time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that kid's something else, man. I tell Pearl, I was like, can you just leave him with my kids for about 2 weeks and let him see how he rolls? He's so chill, man.
That's so funny, man. I always, I'm a guitar player, and I have 3 boys and 3 teenage boys now, and made them all take piano lessons and guitar lessons and everything, but it didn't really stick with any, they wasn't any of their thing. And I didn't want to be too heavy handed about it, but I'm always kind of impressed when I see other musician parents that like somehow guided their kids into that,
Oh yeah. So Pearl, I did a show at the Troubadour last summer, and Pearl opened. And I was like, where's Scott and Rebel? And they're like, oh, they had tickets to see Elton John. So they missed the show. I was like, all right, so that's acceptable.
Yeah, I will say I'm proud to say that the very last event gig that I went to before COVID shut everything down was I took my 12-year-old to go see Kiss at Staples. So,
oh wow, man,
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet that was boring.
It was funny because it was literally right before everything really shut down hard, to the point that I was there. It was just me and him, and 20,000 other people at Staples, and all night I was kind of like, are we doing the right thing here? Should we be here?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck it, it's Kiss. What are you gonna do? He wants to. Yeah. Rolled those dice.
Yeah, it's Kiss.
So you just mentioned the producer dude that you worked with on this album had played with Bob Seger, and I know that you have a connection there through your. Am I right? Is your manager's dad was Bob Seger's longtime manager or something, right?
His father-in-law.
His father-in-law. Okay.
Yeah, Punch. And he mentored Art. And
oh wow, is that how you hooked up with the producer?
Yeah, that's how the producer's how I hooked up with the manager, Arthur.
Oh, so it's the other way around. Okay.
Yeah, basically I was, I had decided a few years ago, I worked in the Nashville songwriting community for about 15 years. It was, I had some feathers in my cap, like Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard had recorded one of my songs, but
right.
It was right around that point that I decided that I was I didn't like Nashville, the way the music was changing. Just for lack of a better word, it was getting so homogenized, and the audience that music was going to weren't people that I generally understood. So I had to figure out what to do. So I started touring, just and I went and bought a 1999 Dodge. Shit, I don't even know. It was a piece of shit, but I bought it, and it actually broke. But anyway, I got an offer to I had this little booking agent, and he called me and said, "Hey, there's this guy Cody Jinks who is in Texas, and I want to try to get you on this show. He's got this really great manager I think you ought to meet. But we're going to have to pull some strings, and it's not going to pay much, and blah, blah, blah." But yeah, he said he used to work for Bob Seger, and I went, "Oh, hey man, my producer is in his band. Maybe I can get him to put in a good word." And essentially that's how that all went down.
Oh, wow. And is that, so that's how you wound up meeting Cody?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Through that whole thing. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Arthur was there that night too. And, Cody was, I didn't really know who he was. I looked up his music, but, there's a lot of guys down in Texas just playing those circuits. So it's easy for one to slip through the radar. But, I got down there and there was this room full of people. I mean, they were just rabidly, just so focused on him. And it was just this insane energy. And I remember I was standing backstage watching it and I had no idea. And I was standing next to Arthur and I said, "Hey, Arthur," I said, "I want that." And he laughed and he said, "Yeah, I fucking bet you do."
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
Listen, back up for a minute. Like, how did you wind up in Nashville? Like, how did you break into writing?
Dude, I mean, just probably kind of like, it's probably the same old story. I grew up in a small town in Southeast Arkansas. There was like one or two other guys around that played music. But I was the kid who sang, I would say I was known. I wasn't really popular. I didn't, but I was kind of a big fish down there. And I thought, man, I'll just move on up to Nashville. In a couple of years, I'll be George Strait and everything will work out great. And
that's how it works.
Yeah. Just like that, man. Anyway, everybody, when I got here said, settle in, and I got to, I'd always written songs. I was fortunate to meet some people and who gave me access to these just wonderful hit songwriters in Nashville. So I actually got to learn from just literally Hall of Fame songwriters and, had some really close calls with some big success in writing songs, but just never quite had that hit and that big single.
But you were like getting cuts and
yeah, here and there. I was getting like one major cut a year, or what I would consider major. And then, but then you go through the whole thing where, a third of them don't even make the record. And, publishers in town were, always signing young writers for, breadcrumbs. Right. And, so I was able to stay down there and keep my head above water for a while, but just never that big hit, Can you talk about that a little bit, like about like being, when you're writing like music or a songwriter or whatever, like do you have a sense, like what's the percentage of songs you write versus songs that get cut? Do you like, is it 5 to 1, 100 to 1, 200? Like, and what also, what is that process like when you turn songs in, are they just sort of gone and then you only ever hear about them again if somebody cuts them? Yeah, you're describing it perfectly. We would, it's a numbers game. Like they always, it's not quality, it's quantity. You just go. So, I would I would get a publishing deal, and just to get a publishing deal is kind of a big deal around town. As long as you had a legitimate plugger and a legitimate, you could go in and demo songs and that kind of thing on their dime. But man, they would hook me up with writers. Like, man, they were paying me like 20 grand a year. Like, I mean, it was famine almost. So I'd work 3 or 4 nights a week at Applebee's waiting tables. So I would, like, on days that I didn't work at Applebee's, I would try to get 2 co-writes in. Like, I would do a 10:30 co-write and then maybe a 2:30 or 3 co-write. And man, you just crank them out and you send them to your publishers and they go, yeah, no, yeah, no. So, and then they go out and hit the streets and they pitch them. And then, or manager, whatever, they'll put it on hold. And so then it goes through this process of 10 guys listening to it all the way to the heads of the labels. And it all comes down to this one guy. Oh man, just if Scott Borchetta likes it, man, I think we might get this Taylor Swift cut, or, whoever. Yeah. And there's always some wrench in the gears. There's some guy that goes, nah, she's already done that, or blah, blah, blah. So the ratio, I'd say for every 150 songs, you get 1 cut maybe.
Wow.
I mean, if you're lucky, it might be more like 300.
Yeah.
And it just depends, man. Sometimes, I know a lot of guys that have they get one cut, and then it's just like snowball. Everybody shows up and starts cutting their songs, and they end up with 60, 70 cuts in 1 year.
It's interesting because, I realized long ago in the music industry, or at least the music industry that I've experienced, there's a funny thing that happens where almost at any level, like nobody ever tells you no, So no is not allowed. You know what I mean? So I always wondered with like Nashville songwriting culture, if you ever get a hard no, or if it just sort of goes into the ether and you never hear, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, it's pretty much, you just never hear it. I would, you would get a hold. I would get a hold on a song, and then, when George Strait was cutting, everybody in town knew the exact days, at what time, and where he was doing it. Like that was just, it was such a small community. Everybody knew. Yeah. So if you had a song on hold for George Strait, and they're like, yeah, they're taking in 15, but they're only going to cut 12. This happened to me once, by the way. Like George Strait was cutting, they took 15 songs in, they were only cutting 12. Son of a bitch. When they cut them, they have to call the publishers. My publisher just never got a call, and George Strait went home. So we knew.
Lucky number 13.
Yeah, damn it.
At what point in all that, like, what's your relationship to Music Row now? Do you still like have a publishing deal and still write in that world, or are you just 100%?
Totally, man. I had to go one way or the other. It was, was
one defining moment for you that made that path clear.
Like the Willie Nelson thing and the Willie Merle thing. That was just kind of the knot. Like it's the best feather in my cap that I'm ever going to have. And just like, if I'm going to write songs now, I'm just doing it for money. And, I love music. Like I love writing music that makes me feel and that makes other people feel. And, in that industrial, mechanism and, of writing songs in Nashville, there's just no heart in it. Like just so rare. It's so rare because you're writing for somebody that essentially you don't even know. You just know what you've heard them give you. So how do you know it's going to hit them? And man, I just wanted to play music. And my initial plan was to be like in the back of like an Applebee's or some shit, just, playing background music and making $400 or $500 a night. I was, like right around 35 years old. I figured, I could, I can build a little circuit, man. I can make $40,000-$50,000 a year. I can live on that. Yeah, sure, do it. And after meeting Arthur and Cody Jinks, Cody started putting me on shows with him all the time, like immediately. And one night we were backstage at a show, and he said, "So you've been out for a while?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "How are the shows going?" I was like, "They're god awful, Cody." I was like, "Last night I played for 3 hours in a bowling alley. They had shut down one lane at the bowling alley and put a rug on it and a stool and I set my shit up right there, and people were bowling literally right next to me." And I was like, and I sang Sweet Home Alabama 6 times, and it was fucking awful, and I hated it. And Cody was like, "Dude, you can't stop doing that." I was like, "Yeah, but it paid, $800. He's like, "Doesn't matter. Stop doing it, man. It's soulless. It'll kill you." And so I did. That was probably the moment where I said, okay, I'm not going to have any connection there. I'm not going to do what I think everybody expects me to do. I'm just going to do what I want to do. And that's that. And I'm not playing Sweet Home Alabama anymore.
That's definitely the pull quote from
it.
I'm not playing Sweet Home Alabama anymore. Once you started going out and doing some touring with Cody, did you start to feel your support, your crowd support grow? Like, the next time you came through on your own, did it start to feel different?
Yeah, totally, man. Like the audience that Cody was playing to they weren't people who were going to invest their time and money in, a fad. They were middle-aged, not middle-aged, but like 35 and up.
Right. Like
And,
not teeny boppers.
yeah, people who aren't gonna, they get 7 nights a week to do something. They're not gonna waste one of them on a show that they really don't want to go to. Like these,
Right.
his fans were just really, really supportive, and it always felt like this underground, like they owned it. And when we toured, man, he would get me out on stage every night to do a song. And he would come up during my set and do a song, and he welcomed me, and his fans welcomed me right along. And, most of the reason people heard of me, at least for the last 3 or 4 years, were just because, of my association with him.
That's great. I mean, that's really interesting. Like that, the difference playing in front of a more sort of radio fan, and I don't mean to diminish any fan, anybody that comes to see you play is great, but it really is a different feel when you're on stage in front of like people that are, I don't know what the word is, maybe seeking out something that's a little more off the beaten path and not quite so mainstream. It just feels different in the room. You can tell, Yeah.
Like I remember being a kid and going to, my dad only let me listen to country music. So I was, but whatever. But like, I remember going to concerts. All right, when are they going to hit? When are they going to play this song? When are they going to play this song? And when I went to a Cody show, man, they sang along to every single song, because there was no hit. They were all hits to the people who liked them, And
yeah.
Cody had a real knack for playing like the essentials, the ones that people locked onto. And man, I learned a lot from that whole experience. We haven't, we ended up being, he's one of my best friends now. We write together a lot. And,
oh, wow.
But we don't tour as much together.
I wrote a song with him kind of recently, during the pandemic, me and him and Kendall. And I wouldn't say I know Cody really. Like I interviewed him once a few years ago and then wrote that song with him, but, great guy and cool writer and everything. But it was funny when we wrote it, cause we did it like this over Zoom or FaceTime or some shit. And his phone didn't work. So we only got the audio. So it was like, he would just like pipe in from time to time, but you didn't get the visual.
Oh, dude, he lives out. Oh God, he lives out in the middle. And you think I live out in the middle of nowhere? He lives out in this. I don't even know how to describe it. It's 20 minutes from a cell phone signal.
Yeah. Well, so, that explains that.
yeah. But man, he and I became fast friends, and we wrote. I think. 7, I think, is how many like songs that we've written together. He's recorded. And yeah, man, he's this guy, like, when you're writing with him, I was trained in Nashville. So, I'm the guy that says, well, we can't say that because nobody knows what we're talking about. And Cody's the guy that says, it doesn't matter if they know, they'll figure it out. They're not idiots. We're not playing for idiots.
Right. So, right.
I learned a lot from him, and dude, it's I don't know. I like this path way better than Music Row. I wish I'd have found it sooner.
Well, you mentioned growing up with your dad listening to country music. Like, what was your childhood like? Was it your dad's influence that got you into the music bug, or what was it? Yeah, Dad bought a upright piano from somebody and got me and my sister piano lessons. Probably I was probably 7 or 8. So I started taking lessons, but then when I was about 10, my sister was 5 years older than me. So whatever my sister thought was cool to me, Yeah. So when I was 10 and she was 15, she brought home this Garth Brooks tape. And so I started, it was really heavy. His first record just had a lot of piano on it. And I started learning it. And, I realized at some point that, hey, people respond to this. I didn't have very much of a lot of self-esteem. I was goofy, awkward kid. But when I played piano, everybody was like, oh, yeah, Ward's all right. So I started, man, that's what got me into it. My dad was
grew up in a time and place that, he's a Vietnam veteran. So we didn't get a lot of Bob Dylan. And Jane Fonda was not to be mentioned ever. I was thinking about that. But he loved, Waylon and Willie and Merle and, like Johnny Horton. But he also loved, he also loved classical music. And he had this, there was this pianist named Richard Clayderman that he really loved. And so I wasn't like so sheltered musically, but we didn't get a lot of rock and roll. And there was, I remember feeling like I was, Garth Brooks recorded a Bob Dylan song called "To Make You Feel My Love." And I was, I would cover anything Garth recorded. And so, but man, I found out Bob Dylan wrote that song and I was like, oh shit, man, I hope Dad doesn't find out.
That's funny. You mentioned Merle Haggard, and I was sort of struck by like you have a kind of a Haggard-esque quality to like, you got a lot of like powerful ballads in the vein of like a Merle Haggard.
Thanks, man.
Type, which is that's like an interesting thing. Like when somebody can sing a strong ballad like that still has like an edge to it. It's still got like a toughness to it, Yeah,
man. I used to like over the last few years, like I said, I didn't start like touring and stuff until I was about 35. Man, and I hit it really hard because, when Arthur started managing me, he was like, all right, he's like, Cody's been doing this shit for 15 years. He's like, we got 5 years to get your ass in gear. And so they started touring me hard. Like, I mean, I went from nothing to like, like 170 shows a year, like hard.
Yeah.
And my voice, man, it went through it. It's gone through a lot, It's not the same timbre it was, 6 years ago.
Right.
And this record, like I said, 4 years of it, I was going through a lot of different shit with my voice, and I can hear it on the record. I tried to, I think everybody wants to cover it up when they're going through something like that. But, I can sure shit hear it on a lot of those tunes. We would come off the road after, 28 days of tour, and then I'd run right in the studio. And man, I was just packed,
Right.
But
it's
man.
Character building.
Yeah. Let's see something. Are you my dad? Go listen to Johnny Horton, boy.
Yeah. You mentioned Willie and Merle cutting one of your songs. Was that what led to having Willie come sing on your first record?
Yeah. So I wrote the song with my friend. Her name's Marla Cannon, and her dad is Willie's producer. And so that was essentially, and Marla's a hit songwriter, and it was nice to have the end. But her dad is like, he's so brutal. Like, he doesn't like anything. I've played that guy. We're friends, so he produces Kenny Chesney and Willie, and he's Reba, and just he's like George Jones. He's produced Sammy Kershaw, all these acts for years and years.
Right.
He even did a Donnie and Marie record. But I would always send him songs, and he just always hated them. So a few years ago, we heard that Buddy was producing a Willie Nelson record, and it was all. And so I went over to Marla's house. We wrote that song for Willie and Sheryl Crow. But when we sent it to her dad, he loved it and played it for Kenny Chesney, and so Kenny Chesney liked it and asked us to hold on to it for him, which we, oh shit, yeah, Kenny Chesney, that's some money.
Yeah.
But anyway, yada yada, Kenny ended up not cutting it, and it was, you mentioned earlier when you write a song, you just kind of forget about it and move along and write another one. That was one of those songs for me until I heard that Willie and Merle were recording that, and I called Marla and I was like, man, your dad liked it 4 years ago, maybe he still likes it. Let's see, maybe just change one line in it for Willie and Merle. And it just went up the flagpole until I just got a call one day. I was waiting. I knew Willie liked it, and I knew Merle liked it. And anyway, they ended up cutting it. After they cut it, sorry about that. After they cut it, I'd always heard if you ask Willie Nelson to sing on your record, he'll do it.
Really?
So I texted,
like a leprechaun. Like he's got to give you his pot of gold.
Dude, I texted Buddy and I said, hey, and I knew because I had the connection. I was like, this is my end. Buddy, you think Willie would sing on my record? And he said, probably. And he texted me back 5 minutes later and said, Willie said, sure.
How does that work when something like that goes down? Did you get to like be in the studio with him, or did you send him tracks? Like
he was all right. So this is I don't know. I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but he had he was singing on a Billy Joel record in LA, and like they tagged it on the end of the session. So I think
nice.
Billy Joel, man, actually paid for Willie Nelson to sing on my album.
Epic. the uncredited executive producer on the sesh.
Yeah. I think I might have a little bit of a lag here. Sorry.
That's all good. You know, that was actually like pretty much the meat of what I wanted to chit chat with you about. But what with a new album and no touring, what's your plan for the new year?
Man, I don't really know. I know they're gonna single some records. We have been picking up like some private shows, some really limited capacity stuff, but man, it comes and goes so fast. Like, a mandate will come in a certain area and whatever, but sure. It's just been pretty unreliable, we'll see. I don't know, with the vaccine and everything. I'm hoping they're saying the spring it might be normal for our capacity anyway.
Yeah, let's hope. I tell you what, I don't know if you've gotten any COVID tests, but we've been doing some work the last few months because we have an album coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah,
got to be the most tested motherfucker on the planet. But like we've gotten so many tests. As a matter of fact, I was out here earlier today. I'm out at our studio because we had to get some tests. So like I've gotten tested so many times. Like I know the subtle nuances between all the different styles of tests now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I hope it's Jim this week and not Amy, because Amy just really gets in there.
Oh, this morning they got in there.
Really? Yeah. Man, I've been, I've got masks. We've got so many masks and, we take every precaution, I stopped flying, that's just too scary. And, I don't want my kids to get sick. I don't want my ex-wife to get sick and then her grandma and, just who else. So it's it's been so weird, but man, knock on wood, that vaccine helps and we can, hopefully everybody will kind of get it together and help us get it back to normal.
Yeah. Well, I hope so too, man. Thanks to you so much for talking to me today. It was a lot of fun, man. It's good to finally meet you.
Thank you, Chris, man. And,
oh shit! I just lost you there for a sec.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I just said when is y'all's new record coming out?
In February. Yeah. So we're like chugging down the road now.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to explain to my 8-year-old who the Foo Fighters were. I'm sorry, you're not JoJo Siwa.
Not even close.
All right, that was Ward Davis on Walking the Floor. Make sure you go out and listen to his latest record, Black Cats and Crows. It's fantastic. You won't be disappointed, man. He's probably getting back on the road here soon. It seems like shows are getting booked and stuff. I don't know. Check his website out. And we will be back in 1 week with another fantastic episode. Not sure who's coming next, but it's always gonna live up to that Walking the Floor extremely high level of guest quality that we're known for here. Okay, that's it, kids. Adios, amigos!